This episode is sponsored by Free Market Kids.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Orange Chatter. Today, you're listening to part 5 of my conversation with Sarah.
Connect people with resources for their particular interests. For instance, like if people are interested in the games that you can earn Bitcoin for, like I'd love to have available, like you said, Sally, like a list of those games and resources, like the apps that for your steps, like that kind of thing, just like to incorporate this into your day by day. I really want to make available kind of a comprehensive list of the different wallet interchange technologies and apps. Like they're all a little bit different, just like I right now over summer I've been carrying a fanny pack because it just works for my lifestyle. But I have a girlfriend who carries a giant like tote everywhere she goes because that works for her lifestyle. She has like everything she needs in it. And just like that, there are different Bitcoin wallet options from the fanny pack, which is like super simple, user interface is easy, you can find what you need and just do it, to the tote that like does all this other stuff that you might not be interested in. So like I want to make available a comprehensive list of the different tools to match where you are in your life, like, and what you need your purse to do. And maybe you end up, like me, where I've got 2 or 3 of these mobile wallets in my phone for different purposes, like just like you change your handbag depending where you're going, that kind of resource I think is needed in the space. And I don't want to reinvent the wheel, but for my community here in Cincinnati, I want to create a place where people can go and personally connect with other people who use Bitcoin so that they can get their questions answered, so that they can really see how this technology fixes so much and they can get on board at the beginning of it like we did, so that they're ahead of the game in 10 or 20 years when it is, the technology around the world.
Yeah, I love that analogy about the different types of handbags, which is so perfectly descriptive of all these different wallets because it can be very, very confusing. And every few months, there's another one that comes in and another one and another one. And so every time you get a wallet, you're like, wait, there's a better one? What? Now I got to move all my money. But maybe you don't because each wallet has its own pros and cons, right?
Exactly. And there's a category for the technology to, like, somebody to have such an innovative idea that it really does become the better purse, but there's also no harm in, I mean, I'm channeling my mother here. She's got like a wall of purses, some she hasn't used in 50 years, but there might be that day you know that she needs that purse. And so there's no problem with it because it's taking up next to no space in your phone or whatever. And but if you're like me and you're a purger, I have gotten rid of some of the mobile wallet apps because I'm like, this one's just not as good as this one that came out. It has different, user interface, or because the technology is advancing. So yeah, it's an exciting time to be in the space, and it gives you some flexibility and some options because new things are coming out. But I do want to create kind of almost like a dictionary or a terminology of like, so what to look for when a new wallet comes out, what are some things you want to think of, and maybe what would it be comparable to, and does it fit what you need.
I think that's going to be so, so useful. So, if anybody is living in the Cincinnati area, how should they find you? Is the meetup link up yet? Or
It is not up yet. We met last night with some other Bitcoiners and wanted to invite them to participate. And we did ask, like, is there a date that would work best for you guys? Because we want to include the small community we've already met here. And so we have hammered out when we want to start. We're looking towards the end of August for our first meeting, but it'll be on the Meetup app, the Meetup platform. Let's see, it'll be on the Meetup platform by the end of this week. By Sunday, we're going to have a meetup going on. So it'll be like Cincinnati Bitcoin Basics or something to that effect. And we are hoping to make it a monthly thing moving forward. And we would like to be kind of mobile as far as location. Cincinnati is pretty divided, like East Side, West Side. A lot of times, East Siders aren't interested in coming to the West Side and vice versa. So we're hoping to be a little bit mobile and, 1 month meet near campus, UC, 1 month meet, Central District downtown, like various, so that we can make it easy proximity wise for folks to come and hear about these opportunities and get questions answered and things like that. So it's not going to be at one specific location probably, but we are aiming to do once a month towards the end of the month, and it will be through the Meetup platform that people would be able to find us.
Okay, so when you have the link, just shoot it to me and I'll add it to the show notes. Any last suggestions for women who are still currently sitting on the fence?
Well, like you mentioned, there are a lot of resources available. One that has been helpful to me that even before buying your first Bitcoin would be there's an app, it's an educational app called Yzer, Yzer. And it is very simple. It's these gentlemen who are like, people just need to know some basics of Bitcoin. It goes over the history, it goes over more like what it is. It does get into some technical stuff, but in a way that is for the layman. They define their terms, they define their acronyms. So when Jason started getting into nuts and bolts of Bitcoin, I found this app and was like, okay, I'm going to try to get this vocabulary down. But the first modules that are available on there, and it's free and it's easy to interface with, are like Bitcoin basics. Like just start there. Like it's in a model where you do a little bit of reading on your phone or your iPad, and then there's like questions and quizzes, and you earn sats by doing it. So they pay you, and they do pay you in Bitcoin. And then in part of the training or part of the like curriculum, it tells you like the different types of wallets and all this stuff. So it is a good place to start to learn terminology. I have found it to be helpful and educational. I would recommend that educational app. YouTube is a good resource, but you got to avoid the clickbait. Like there's more and more content available on YouTube for basics, like what we've been talking about. And if you search for that kind of terminology, like Bitcoin basics or introduction to Bitcoin, there are some really good beginner explanations of Bitcoin, because I feel like understanding the why of the technology is an important first step. And then as your particular interest, like maybe you are interested in like the savings aspect of it, the security aspect of it for your money, sure, there's other like videos can like deep dive into that. Or if you are interested in the creation of Bitcoin, the mining of Bitcoin, lots of videos on that. But just start by searching Bitcoin basics or introduction to Bitcoin on YouTube. If you've got kids, the Tuttle Twins episode on Bitcoin and the Beast, you go to YouTube, search Bitcoin and the Beast, and it'll come right up. And it is literally a cartoon made for children that explains what Bitcoin is, why it is better than, fiat currency. And I mean, if it was enough to like educate my like 5 and 7-year-old on the differences between those things, then, I think that adults can get it too. So those are just 3 kind of introductory, what is this thing, resources. And find somebody, come meet with, your friend that first told you about Bitcoin. They're not, I am confident that they would be excited to share with you their story of why they got interested. Don't be afraid to ask those questions, even like framed in the terminology of like, I really don't understand what this is. Like, it's okay. Like, that's how people probably felt about telephones when they first, or the radio, like when you could first hear somebody's voice from 2,000 miles away. Like, it's, you don't really understand what it is, but you can ask like the people who do. So I would say that would be my counsel.
Yeah, those are all really wonderful resources. Thank you so much for sharing your Bitcoin story. It was so, so helpful. I love your analogies. I think a lot of listeners will find your information so, so helpful. Thank you so much for joining us today.
I want to thank you for your time. Thanks, Tali. I appreciate you.
Thanks for joining us today and learning with us today. If the discussion with our guest resonated with you and you would like to dive deeper into the world of Bitcoin, don't miss out on joining the Orange Hatter Women's Reading Club. The meetup link is in the show notes. Also, if there are women in your life whom you think would both enjoy and benefit from learning more about Bitcoin, please share Orange Hatter with them. Until next time, bye!